A favorite 5 list should come easy. However, this is going to be a bitch for me to sort out. Why did I do this to myself? Why did I do this to myself? Out of respect. Few things have captivated me the way John Carpenter's films have. He's entertained me, provoked the thought process, and scared the living shit out of me since I was about 6 years old. Needless to say, I am compelled to tribute. In this modern age of cinema, studio interference is a common thing. That shit wouldn't have happened when John Carpenter was making films. The man sticks to his guns. Always. For better or worse. That's what I respect about him. His films are a mirror, held up to society, only reflecting in the truth, which is to say they're not for everyone. Most would very much prefer to live in denial of their faults. But John Carpenter has never been a coward.
Maybe it's my own worldview.
Trends come and go, but he always remains true to his vision. Perhaps that was never more true than on the film set of my number 5 pick. In the 1980s, Hollywood played fast and loose with bullets, brutes, and violence. And then in 1986, John Carpenter attempted to knock that concept on its ass. So maybe it didn't light the box office on fire on its initial release. Some films don't. There's absolutely no harm in trying. Obviously, I'm talking about Big Trouble in Little China, a film unlike any other. A lot of films say that, but Big Trouble walks it just as easily as it talks it. It's like where martial arts film meets fantasy and becomes completely epic, with a little bit of comedy thrown in. I could talk about this movie all goddamn day, but I won't. I could marvel at its heroes, the sidekicks, the action, and the effects, but I won't. I'm not here to review it or spoil it on anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I just want to speak about the villain a little bit. From writing to casting, John Carpenter really knew how to present the villain, and David Lopan is no exception. For this character to be so underrated, it should be considered a crime. This film that struggled to find an audience in '86 has become a cult classic and has proven to be quite influential. If for some reason you're watching this and you haven't seen Big Trouble in Little China, you have no idea what you're missing. Watch it just once and you'll know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the check's in the mail. I have not seen anything in this world more potent than an artist with something to say. In 1988, after 7 years of Reaganomics, John Carpenter had something to tell us. This particular story was told through the eyes of a drifter named Nada, sort of this down-to-his-luck everyman, something that was all too common in America during the 1980s. A type Roddy Piper was perfect to play because of his personal life experiences. Long story short, Nada uncovers that the human race has been invaded. It's happened, it's all around us. Aliens are not only among us, they're controlling the human race through the unrestrained capitalism lifestyle, often confused for the American dream. It's all a big conspiracy. Subliminal messages in the media are being used to keep us right where they want us. It's only now, decades later, that some of us realize what a cautionary tale They Live was. We should have listened. We should have listened. They say the devil's in the details. John Carpenter may have proven them right when he wrote and directed Prince of Darkness. The film sees a Catholic priest break a centuries-old conspiracy by requesting a group of quantum physics students investigate and validate an ancient secret lurking in the bottom of a Los Angeles church. The film may be a bit slow, which is what my group of friends said when I showed it to them. That's a fair critique, but it's thought-provoking by the time the credits roll. It's important to know who you are and what you're about, and to always stand your ground. John Donne wrote what he believed in, that no man is an island. In 1981, John Carpenter co-wrote and directed a film that would exist as a counter-argument to that. Escape from New York takes place in a distant future, where Manhattan Island has been converted into a prison. It's where the government sends the worst of the worst. Air Force One is hijacked and deliberately crashed into the prison. Having no other option, the government offers a pardon to ex-soldier turned criminal, Snake Plissken. To earn his pardon, he must break into the prison, rescue the president, and escape. And he only has 24 hours to do it. I fucking hate deadlines. What ensues is a sharp-edged adventure, stacked on piles and piles of bullets and bodies. I'll tell you something, the day this movie was released, cinema was blessed with Snake Plissken, an authentic, no-nonsense, tough-as-nails character, full of disdain for authority figures. A character very much in the vein of Carpenter himself. Whenever I make these videos, I always speak from a truth. It's one of the few things I could pride myself on. I find this honorable mention a little unsettling, because I know no matter what I say, I cannot properly convey the thoughts and feelings I have tied to John Carpenter's Halloween. But, Dr. Loomis would find a way, and so will I. It wasn't the first horror movie I saw, however it was the one that made me a fan. Of the actors, the story they told, of the genre and the fear it induced, of the man who spun it all together. It's a great film, but it's not John Carpenter's best. So if John Carpenter's Halloween isn't number one on this list, what is? Here's the thing. Not that thing. I've always been fascinated by space and science fiction, but believe me, nothing I saw before this film could prepare me for the experience of seeing space through the eyes of John Carpenter. He had a particular vision for this film, and that vision was so important to him that he gathered a phenomenal team both in front of the camera and behind the scenes to achieve it. Kurt Russell's acting, Dean Cundy's cinematography, and the stellar special effects of Rob Bottin. The film tells a story of a group of American researchers working in Antarctica as they encounter a parasitic extraterrestrial life form. This asshole assimilates, then imitates other organisms. The horror of isolation and distrust ensues. It's quite the dilemma. One that can only be survived by embracing the DTA mentality. And I'll be damned if I haven't been in that situation a time or two. There's a pretty good argument to be made that life is about survival. My own has been difficult. I must say, though, that the blows headed my way were made a little bit easier to take once I discovered the films of John Carpenter. Thank you so very much, sir. The check's in the mail.